Good morning, and thank you for joining this new denial webinar. Good morning, Jean-Philippe.
Good morning.
Thank you again for joining. We're going to talk about automation today in the context of Agile and DevOps operations. This is Stéphane de Saint-Avin speaking. I'm in charge of marketing and business development at Denial, and Jean-Philippe is going to do most of the talking today.
Yeah.
Are you?
Yes, are you? I am.
Just a little bit of logistics. We are broadcasting today from our offices in Paris, and we have a little bit of noise in the background. I hope it's not going to be too annoying for you. Please use the chat room to ask any questions and provide feedback. We'll take some time at the end of the presentation to answer them. All right, so the agenda for this presentation. First, I'm going to start with a quick update on the acquisition by Rohde & Schwarz Cybersecurity that was announced a couple of months ago, or a few months ago now, almost. And then we'll dive into the subject of today's presentation. We'll talk about DevOps, the security challenge, how DevOps teams can take advantage of our products automation features. And then we'll also talk about some of the new enhancements in the Denial WAF platform that add capacity and security, but are not necessarily related to automation. And then we'll take a few minutes to answer your questions at the end. So this is the plan. Quick update. We announced the acquisition of Denial by Rohde & Schwarz Cybersecurity earlier in the quarter, at the beginning of January. And I just wanted to give you a quick update on how this is progressing. We're in the process of integrating the business, and we're very happy to be doing that. So first of all, a quick update on the year 2016, because we haven't done that in our previous messages. 2016 has been the best year ever for the company in the last 15 years that it has existed, with very significant growth in new business. We're very proud to have gained the confidence of 54 new customers that year, including 33 internationally. So thank you very much for your trust if you're one of them. Some of the logos here show that we have been working. We are working today with companies of all sizes in all verticals, and in many countries, including Brazil, including the US, Germany, France, Switzerland, Asia, the Middle East, and so forth. So again, thanks for your trust. When it comes to Denial's role inside the Rohde & Schwarz Cybersecurity organization, I just want to give you a quick summary update. We are going to continue to be the application security business unit of Rohde & Schwarz Cybersecurity, developing and providing enhancements to our existing product line. We're doing that with more headcounts, more resources assigned to our R&D organization to provide you with better solutions faster. And we're also starting to identify the opportunities for leveraging, across technology research and innovations with our colleagues from Rohde & Schwarz Cybersecurity. So we'll tell you more about that in the coming months as we formalize some of our new ideas into new projects. The second thing that Denial is going to evolve into is we're going to be the sales arm of Rohde & Schwarz Cybersecurity in what we call the South EMEA region. So all the French-speaking countries, Italy, Spain, Portugal, Africa, starting with North Africa, obviously, and the Middle East. Apart from the DACH region or the German-speaking part of the world, we continue to be the go-to-market engine for all of the Rohde & Schwarz Cybersecurity offerings. So in the coming months, we'll be introducing some of the products that the Rohde & Schwarz Cybersecurity team is carrying to you so that we can help you solve new problems and hopefully help you with your challenges. The last thing that we are doing is we're going to contribute French-speaking capacity to the global support organization of Water and Child Cybersecurity. So our French support team is going to, over time, become capable of providing technical support on all of the other Water and Child Cybersecurity products. That's for a quick update. If you look at the portfolio of Water and Child Cybersecurity, now updated with to feature denials products, we are an important addition to the portfolio with our products, focused on securing applications, and there will be more developments there in the coming months and quarters. So, without further ado, let's talk about DevOps. DevOps is sort of a buzzword. But it's more than that, right? It's a trend. We are seeing, as we work with our customers, that some of them have become so agile that they've had to revisit their organization and their processes to be able to catch up or to meet the challenge of being able to update their applications in a continuous manner. So when we all think about what that movement is, there's sort of a sense or a notion of inevitability, like an evolution, from ape to man. But in reality, it's a choice that organizations have to make, and they have to assume, knowing where they're going, understanding the challenges and obviously the benefits, but also the challenges of adopting that approach, which is a lot about breaking silos, bringing people together that haven't necessarily been working together, and making sure that they continuously improve their productivity and the quality of their work product. And so that's what we're going to talk about today for the most part. But before we get there, let me put you all at contribution. We have this little poll here that I would like to ask you to contribute to. So we have two questions. First question is, DevOps in your organization. Is it something that you're working on now? Is it something you're looking into? Or is it some nice idea that is probably not going to be implemented in your organization before some time because your organization is not moving in that direction yet? And then the second question relates to security and DevOps. Please let us know if this is an afterthought today. If you're engaged in a DevOps process or agility, is security an afterthought? Is it something that is clearly identified as a need, but needs to, it's difficult to implement because developers aren't aren't necessarily trained and don't have the expertise required? Is it something that you're leveraging the knowledge that your DevOps, the ops team in your DevOps, or the infrastructure people in your organization have acquired? And is this something that you think is going to happen, provided that we and other vendors provide the necessary automation? Because as today's evidence is provided, security needs to be as automated as the rest of the process. So please give us your thoughts on this, and we'll try to comment the outcome of this quick poll. Okay, so a few of you haven't voted yet, but let's see. All right, so if you're not seeing the poll, it's on the right-hand part of your screen, right? You should be able to see that now. All right, so we have big split between, on the first question, between, people who are already working on that, and people who are sort of still on the fence. We also have, on the security question, a nice even split between, it's an afterthought. We have an issue with developers not being trained, and the fourth answer, which is, the need for automation. So thanks for that. We're going to go back to the slide. I think it's quite interesting that nobody yet has answered the question, is leveraging the knowledge acquired by the infrastructure team to move ahead with that. So going back to your taking control again. Or should I do something? I guess I need to change your role. Here you go, Jean-Philippe. Thanks for broadcasting the slides again. You should be there already. Yeah. All right. So when we talk about DevOps and moving to DevSecOps, there's a few things that need to happen. Obviously, first thing is obviously developer training on security is a must-have. It's not a sufficient thing, but it's a must-have. I guess the second point is really probably the most important one. I was recently attending a Gartner conference where some Gartner senior analysts were suggesting that it is the role of security people to invite themselves into agile and DevOps teams and become part of the team. And so I think that's a very true statement. We also obviously need to make sure if we're in a DevOps type of process to foster a culture of collaboration between all those functions and not forgetting security. Security needs to be built into the very process, from user story creation to actual deployment and continuous automation. We also think that these tools the security teams have been using can provide a great level of enhancement and productivity, whether we're talking about source code analysis products, runtime, or key scanners, such as the one we provide, or web application firewalls, or encryption, data masking, and other tools. There's plenty of opportunity for these tools to add value to a DevOps organization. So now let's dive into what the application security imperative covers. We're going to talk a lot more in the rest of this presentation about APIs and web services, what needs to be done to secure them, to enhance the productivity of people creating them. We're going to talk about protecting the infrastructure from man-in-the-middle attacks, taking care of authentication and authorization, bot remediation, and finally user reputation. So let's go over some of these issues, these topics now, together with Jean-Philippe.
Okay, thank you, Stéphane. So Stéphane is actually right. So when we talked about DevOps, we of course talked about services and web services. And with these web services come some issues, attacks, and common threats that has to be mitigated in a way. And you are the ones that can actually do this mitigation. So the first thing is, what can you do by yourself? So it's the do-it-yourself thing. It's basically based in the context where you actually know the application. You can use some rich user interface in order to approve or to validate, the structure of your application. You can use some internal private clouds to protect your application from outside. On-demand service, but basically your idea, whatever you deploy or when you go for API or web services, is always to make it easier and to make it faster in order to access the service. So first point that you can do by yourself and that you can start to do in order to protect your web services is to start with some validation. So the validation is the ability for you to whitelist what is normal operation on your website or web service. And basically, people can build by themselves some Swagger file or WSDL to control what's going to be displayed or what's going to be normal requests going to the backend. The thing with that is always the follow-up of this process over the time. It can be painful for a dev team to keep on updating a whitelist file or a whitelist application. So this is actually possible. It's a good way to protect your backend, but it's a pain to be put in place and to be maintained in the time if you don't have the proper tool, and we'll talk about that later. Finally, on this validation process, it actually fits with the agile context because it will learn and build a whitelist that is always alive and should be kept alive with your application and always move beside your application and your backends. So nice process to be put in place, the validation, but on the long run, sometimes a bit difficult to maintain. Second of all, what you can do is you can think about the protection of the man in the middle. So the best way to protect yourself against this type of attack is, of course, to use SSL. So SSL will force you to enforce the connection to the backend using certificates and keys. So you do have to have some knowledge in it. You know, it's not something that you can just think about. And if your application is an internal application that you developed since a long time, it can be as well a pain, you know, to modify the application in order to add some SSL connection to it. So it's a good thing. It will protect you against the man in the middle. And again, you know, it can be a pain if it hasn't been thought from the beginning of the application. So this is something actually that we can help on as well with our solutions to ease, you know, the implementation of SSL between end users and the reverse proxy, and then the reverse proxy can do a normal connection to your backend. The good thing with this SSL is that basically it will sign the request. You can add some more functionalities. You can comply as well with the standard security on the Java and SOAP XML or on the communication that you will have or the data that you will exchange in the flow. And that will definitely improve the security of your backend if you're using SSL. The other point is the authentication and the authorization. So basically, you can go further than simple SSL, which is going to be, you know, a secured connection between two machines. You can as well authenticate a user specifically. Then you will have to use PKI. You will have to deal with certificates, with CAs, and not everybody, you know, wants to do that. So this is definitely something that you can do on your own. You can use as well some standard IDPs like the SAML, like the Oath, or the OpenID coming soon in our product, or some token policy like can be, you know, the Kerberos or other type of token that you can use in the application that will give you a temporary access to the backend. So this is a good way as well to mitigate some of the risk with your backend and to control what is going to this backend and secure it in a good manner. Then we can talk about the bots and the users. So on the net, we all know that there is good bots and bad bots, and the same, there is as well good user and bad users. So it can be sometimes very difficult to actually mitigate with those threats. you would like the good user to be able to have a nice experience when it comes to your website or to your web service when you use your web service or your backends. But you would like to be able to identify the bad user and actually block it. Same for the bots. I mean, good bots will give you a nice overview or a nice visibility on the internet. It will contribute to the branding of your company. But bad bots can actually do the opposite, like stealing some information, like your price, your rebates, your promotions, and then counterattack by selling the same product cheaper. So you do have to mitigate those threats. And again, this is something that is very hard to do on your own. And this is something that Denial can help on with inner solution and inner features that we have in the product that you can use actually to address the user registration scoring, to track the automations, and to even suggest some CAPTCHA if you have any, let's say, if you wonder if it is a good or a bad user, a good or a bad bot.
Great, Jean-Philippe, thanks. So we're going to go into the demo now. Maybe as an introduction to the demo, we're going to try to run this as if we were a DevOps team, right? So the steps we're going to go through is setting up the environment, seeing how we can automate some of the processes there, learning the application, testing the code, tuning the policy, managing false positives or the risk of false positives, and then the ongoing monitoring. So why don't you get going with the first step, the automation on the sort of the infrastructure.
Thank you. So basically, in the new release, the version now of DAWAF 6.3, you will be able to, there is an improvement in the way that you will manage the tunnels. And we think about the customer that has like many times the same tunnels or that would like to deploy in a very quick manner. The same policy on different tunnels, different applications, and we do have now the ability within the console to create and configure a primary tunnel, and then to use this primary tunnel to create more tunnels based on the same configuration actually. And then all the security functional configuration is cloned from the primary to the others, as well as any deployment that you're going to do. It will be reflected as well. When you click on apply, it will be reflected on this secondary tunnel that is basically based on the first one. Let's see how it looks. So it's a very simple way, to configure the WAF and to load balance the configuration between different applications. Let me now show you. Je vais devoir tous les
c'est moins compliqué, je pense.
Ouais. Okay. So this is the new console. So if I connect now to my server, to the DAWAF 6.3, you can see that there is already different applications that are configured. So you can have a list, of many applications. Of course, here we only have a few of them, but for some customers, we're talking about 50 applications, 100 applications, and some of them, are quite similar. So basically, what you can do from now on is to choose one of this application and to create, a secondary tunnel based on the first one. And whatever you will change on this application, let me choose another one. This one. So whatever you choose from or you change on this application will be reflected in the other application. So the secondary tunnel will ask you a few configuration like the first one, so it can be on the same reverse proxy or on a different one. You will have to choose the incoming ports, which ports this policy is going to be applied on, and it's done basically. Then it will create in the console this secondary tunnel that you can see here reflected, and you can see as well the look and feel is different from the other one. So it is flagged as secondary tunnel, so you can see that this is actually a secondary, and whatever you modify on the first one will be applied on the second one. Yeah. Nice, and other different features that have been added or improved in the product in 6.3. You do have the ability for the product to follow the orchestration and automation. So we have an API included in the product that you can use in order to create some tunnels basically, and use this automation to if you would like to scale or to create massively or to destroy massively new hubs or and tunnels, you will be able to do it using the API. Basically, the idea is to ease the integration of the product in an agile manner. So whenever you would like to use this product in a virtual environment and ease the administration of the product, this is really beneficial to use this API functionality that now is basically present in added in the product. So let's have a look at this API. So basically, we built a small API website. So we build an access to the API via a simple website that will display or use the API port that is within the product and access the product to get information or to create tunnels depending on what or which functions that you would like to use. So we put actually some of the functions here. So the get, the create, the modify, the delete, the get backend status or get tunnels. And here on the right side, you can actually see the request itself or the response. You have the response here, the second part of the page. So if I, for example, didn't mention anything here and on the get function, then it will trigger, prompt me to connect. So I will connect. Okay, and I will be able to,
You need to disconnect from the main console first, right?
Here we go. So now I'm connected in the API, so I'm disconnected as an administrator because two administrators right now cannot connect on the API.
We're working on making that possible in the future.
Yes, in the next release, it should be possible to have at least 2 administrators connected at the same time. And so if you click on this get functions, you will see that you will browse the list of all the tunnels that have been created in the product. Using the same concept, you can actually create it as well a tunnel if you want to, and you can use the function create. Then it will create a new tunnel. You have to indicate what is actually the different options. Let me just check what is the good policy that is created already. Okay. Right. So basically, you can create a tunnel from scratch, except the workflows. So the workflows need to exist already because you cannot create workflows using this API concept. Then you have to choose an interface. I don't even know which one is available, but I can put it on anything. Outgoing address. Basically, you have to fill it in. So by the way, I don't know if you noticed, but on the left side, whatever I will fill on the left side will be completed on the right side by the API itself. Now, if I click on create, sorry.
Better now.
Good. So it runs. Now I have the notification that it is okay. So if I go back in the console now, you will see
the new reverse proxy, the new tunnel that was created, right?
Exactly. A bit, scanning, connecting. Okay, and we can see here that the new tunnel was definitely created by the API itself, and everything was scripted right here. So you have the execution here. You have the script for the execution right here. So you can even copy this the script and create your own automation process in order to provision many websites at once.
Right. So now we've created an environment where we can automate the creation of tunnels and applications and SSL. Let's talk about how we can automate the discovery of applications and the discovery or the application of a security policy.
Exactly. So basically, within the product, you do have the ability to have a wizard that will assist you in the creation of the policy whenever you would like to protect a common backend. So by common backend, we're talking about common applications like LWA, like SharePoint, like Drupal, like many SAP, Oracle. So I mean, you have a lot of different applications that have been integrated, and you can use this wizard in 2 different manners. So the first thing is to either create a new tunnel, then you start with the wizard, and then the wizard will try to detect whenever you will put the IP address and the port, it will try to detect which services is running. And based on this service, it will automatically suggest security rules for you in order to be applied on this particular application. That is the first manner. Then the second manner is based on the fact that maybe you would like, or you know already which type of application, and you would like to choose yourself then you will be able as well to use one of the templates that are already available in the product. You go in the template, you still use the wizard to start the process, and then you will have to go in the application discovery process, click in any application, choose template, and you will be able to choose between, let's say, 10, 20 different templates to be applied on your application in order to ease the deployment for you of new application with existing workflows or security policy. Application learning and parameter validation. So we talked about it just a while ago. We said, in the different things that you can do actually to by yourself to protect your website. We talked about whitelisting, and we talked about the fact that this whitelisting is quite efficient, but a bit painful because you have to maintain it within the time on the long run, and because of this long run thing, sometimes it's a bit difficult to be accurate and to be maintained. So basically, we integrate this function within our product, and we put as well some easy way to use this functionality by creating some learning logs. So based on the learning logs that you will create, you will be able to create the whitelist. So the good thing with the learning logs is actually that these learning logs will evolve together with your applications. If there is new URL that has been created or other new things, then it will be automatically detected and will come to enrich the sitemap that you created for a certain time. So based on this sitemap, then you will have the ability to use whitelisting and to ban any unauthorized operation against your application. Another way to use or to create this whitelisting is to import Swagify, and we do have the functionality within our vulnerability manager product to create some Swagger file after a scan. And this is probably the best way as well to keep the sitemap accurate and to keep it up to date. Let's say that's the word I was looking for. Thank you, Stefan. To keep the sitemap up to date by running regular scan on your application, and then you will be able to import the Swagify that is created by the vulnerability manager.
Let's show that quickly.
So as you can see on the screenshot that is right here, you have based on the web application, you will have the ability to create the Swagger file, and then this Swagger file can be imported directly in the product, and we'll see a demo next time of the importation of the import, of a Swagger file within the WAF product. So when this Swagger is imported, you can actually do validation. So it means that you will use those files in order to whitelist the proper operations within your applications, and to block any operations that are not tolerated. So it can be any request that is not normalized, so it's not correct or it's not expected, that can be blocked if it's not by default in the whitelist. Same, you have another tools that is available, is the ability for you to import virtual patching. So from the vulnerability scanner, you are able to run some scans, and based on the result of the scan, you will be able to create a file, import this file into the WAF application, and when this file is imported, it will automatically create some blocking rules based on the file that you will import, and you will be able to block some, for example, new threats, and take your time then, to patch your server, if it's server flows or if it's flows from the OS or from the application that you're using. Let's see that now with a short demo. So we talked about the sitemap. So the sitemap is basically in the security area of the product. So you have all the workflows with the different rules that are created. And here you have the security tabs. So in the security tabs, and the security menu, you will have the IC configuration, and you will have the sitemaps. So with the sitemaps configuration, this is actually here that you can import Swagger file in order to whitelist or to create the URLs of your website. So to do that, you just have to click Add. No, I want to actually. I have on my computer an example of it. So I will create a new site, and from this site I will import the Swagger file that is according to this new website.
And it's not any website.
Yeah, it's Twitter.
So you found a Swagger description of the Twitter service.
Exactly.
Okay.
And we're going to import this Swagger file in order to create our whitelist directly inside the product. So you can see the prompt that tell me that the Swagger file has been imported successfully, and you saw as well in the background that based on this new Swagger file, you have now a whitelist that has been created with the different URLs of your website, as well as the operations that are authorized. So you can allow operations, you can as well modify some of the operations, or you can add as well parameters on top of what does exist. So this parameter will allow you to be more restrictive and to actually define, if you would like to, a specific length here, or a specific format that you would like to be within this formula, or within the request that is going to be posted on this specific URL. So it can really go very, very far or in depth, let's say, in the configuration of your whitelist. And then based on this whitelist application, you will be able to ban any traffic that will go to your website or to your applications or to your web service, based on what you allow or what you do not allow in the sitemap. Anything? No? Okay. So let's move on. So based on the new product as well, the new release bring as well some new functionalities. So thanks to the Airweb engines, we do have now more engines within the product. We did had the ICX engine based on patterns, and now we have much more engine that will scan for threats. And potentially block them, like the scoring list, like the blacklist. We have now, I think, at least 3 new engines, and we're going to have soon 2 additional more, like the SQL injection and the transversal one that is now in the product, and we'll have much more that will come in the next product. So basically, this new engine will, or engine will, of course, generate some, let's say, new type of alerts. And you will see in the product that this specific engines got their own security logs. And based on this security logs, it doesn't mean that we're going to lose this resolve functionality that we had in the past. So we're still going to have the ability to use this resolve button thanks to the information that we have in the token, and we'll be able to actually select different rules or different security alerts and resolve them, all in once. So I think the first maybe we'll see a short demo about it. Maybe the first thing we'll start by generating some attacks on the demo, which will be logged. So I will first disable the ICX engine, then we'll create some attacks, and then we'll see in the logs overlook, and then we'll see how we can resolve them. So let's go back to the demo platform. And first I have to change the policy. Okay, so you can see here that we put for the demo reason all the engine, they are all right now activated, and I can choose which one I would like to basically use. Yeah, sorry. they were unactivated, disabled, and only the ICX was enabled. So I will do now the opposite. I will disable the ICX engine, so it will not block anything, and I will block using the other engines, like the scoring list and the blacklist mainly. Okay, let's apply. And for the demo, we are using a default website that, by the way, anybody can download on the net. It's a website that you can actually use to simulate some attacks against an application server. So this is an application with flows, and you can generate some attacks on this application. So we're going to use some of the attacks that are already present within the application. So let's use this one, for example, which is the cross-path scripting, offsite scripting. Doesn't really matter. Okay, so you can see here that it has been blocked. So that was the first one. Let's do it again so we can have some more logs. Look again, then I will change a bit the user. Let's do it again with a different user. Okay, let's try some SQL injection maybe. Oops. Blocked again. Okay, so by default, the product is doing a good job. So I think we have enough. I can do another one. Yeah, it's blocked. Okay, so we do have now 4 or 5 different attacks that has been run against the product. So the rule is applied now. If I go in the alerts here, in the security logs, you will see all the attacks. So basically, because I disabled it's old ones, as you can see, the dates and time, and all the logs now are right now in the security logs. So if you select one of them, you can see this token concept. So basically, if you look down the page, you see that for the one that I selected here, I have a summary with the context. I do have a token. So the token is what is really specific to this attack. So you have the values of what has been catched. You have the key or keywords, let's say, and on the completely right side of the screen, you have as well some description that will help you to understand what are the different elements that has been put here. Like the first one is the family attack. The second one is the common weakness enumerations and more. And then you have the request that has been placed here. So either I can do a resolve on this one only, or I can do what we call a multiple resolve. So if I choose this one only, for example, I will click on this one, yes, okay, and it will create with success just one request. But I can as well do multiple selections, so I can select many of them, except maybe the first one, which has been created already. And then I will click on the same button. It will ask me again, do you want to resolve it? If I click yes, then you can see that it will create the different rules. And based on this token ability, you see in the logs that some of them have been skipped because actually it was already created by previous rules. So it's not recreating twice, the same notifications if this is needed. So you don't have to be, let's say, careful on the log or the selection of the log. It will just create it in an intelligent manner, and you will be able to create some good exclusion within the product. So that was for the improvement of the security engines and how you can resolve it. Yeah. We do have as well now some new reports. So we have quickly in the product improved the reports. So we are using Kibana to generate some dashboards and a very nice report. It used to be only based on the traffic, and now you do have some security information as well included in the Kibana report. Okay.
Yeah, we don't have time to go into the details of that demo, but yeah, we're happy to give you more details if you're interested at a later stage. In the interest of time, let's move on and talk about the other non-automated, automation-related improvements. You talked already a little bit about these earlier.
Yeah. So we do have now within the product new engine that has been added, and more will come. And we have now 2 new engines that are particularly there is one that is specific to SQL injection that will do some advanced detection on this particular request with a more accurate patterns detection. And will reduce as well some less, false positive if you would like to use this engine. And we have another one, which is the PathSec, which is for this one focused on the transversal type of attack that you can run against websites to move, a user to different websites or to different URL. And again, it's new engines that have been added in the product. This is included in the license, so feel free to use them. In the new release, they are available. So as I said, new engine doesn't mean that you have to replace the existing ones. You can actually change them. So in your default workflow, you can add some more engine. We saw basically in the workflow that I presented just before that you can choose to put all those different engines one after another. We saw at the last webinar some new engine like the normalization and the scoring list. The normalization, for example, to decrypt some requests that would have been encrypted in base 64. And now we do have new engines, the SQL, I, and the path transversal. So you can definitely use as well those ones in your workflow to improve security or to focus specifically on attacks.
Great, thank you, Jean-Philippe. Let's conclude. So we've seen that the need for security shouldn't be considered as an afterthought or as an optional thing. If DevOps is going to be a success, it needs to become DevSecOps. And the risk that people are taking by not embedding security into their DevOps methodology and teams is that they're going to spend time, spinning around to be agile, but at the same time endanger the data that their organization is supposed to be delivering in a secure manner. So security needs to be embedded. It's very compatible with agility, and Denial as an application security vendor is investing a lot of new features, new capabilities to make your job easier as a DevOps team to take on this notion that it's better to create applications that are initially secure rather than doing that or trying to do that afterwards. So we have this great platform that combines both automation and ease of administration with a lot of options for creating granular security policies that are going to match the specific requirements of some very critical applications that you may have to be creating. So when if you look at all the features we talked about, there's plenty, and there will be more. We have been working on a very fast-paced roadmap delivery, merging our two WAF platforms and adding new features to the 6.x platform with the release of 6.3 today or in a couple of days. We'll have some new interesting developments in terms of tokenization of events, as we've seen with the demo, the Orchestration API, which enables you to industrialize deployments, the addition of some of the advanced engines from the web platform, HTTP 2 support, which we haven't talked about, but is available in the product. And then there's more coming. Our roadmap. We're going to continue to deliver enhancement to the merge platform. So 6.4, version 6.4 will come before the summer and add active HA, integration with an HSM product, some enhancements in web services coverage, OpenID, support. Until we are ready to deliver a sort of final release of the 6.x platform in the fall, which will be the long-term support version. And moving there on, we will be working on the next iteration, which will be called 7. So there's plenty of things in the works. As you've seen, we're integrating our technologies together to deliver a platform that enables you to be more effective at automating security within your application's lifecycle. So with that, we'd like to see if you have any questions. We got a few earlier in the presentation. I'm hoping that let's take a look at these. So it was not a question here, but more a comment. Automation goes hand in hand with having APIs and integration with other tools. We clearly agree with that statement and that suggestion. There was a question about what we meant by SSL.
Yeah, it's TLS, yeah, sure.
And the question was, I presume by SSL you're using the generic term and not SSL. In other words, this is TLS, not SSL.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. We are using TLS, and the last bit of the TLS as well, compatible with.
I don't see any other questions in the QA room or in the chat. If there are any questions, please feel free to ask them now. And if not, we're going to suggest that you go on our website and look for more information. There's a 10-minute recorded demo if you're new to the platform that will give you a good sort of overview and a complement to what we've looked at today. You can also very easily test the products going on our website or on Azure, for example, or Amazon. And with that, we'd like to thank you very much for your participation today.
Thank you.
And thanks, Jean-Philippe. And we look forward to hearing from you. Have a very good rest of your day. Bye-bye now.